a bootlegkev.com exclusive.
Yo, it's Power 98.3 where hip hop lives, man. Bootlegkev.com. You already know. In front of me right now, I got the homie Chamillionaire in the building.
To remain.
Chamillionaire, I gotta tell you, bro. I've been a big fan of yours for years, man. I used to make a lot of money off your mixtapes when I was like 17.
I've been a fan of yours too, man. I wish I could bootleg your interviews, but I can't. So
man, I'm telling you. Hey, the song Never Let You Down was like my profile song on MySpace forever.
Oh yeah?
I'm pretty sure it still is.
I really believe you. I really believe
that song was like, that song made me like want to go get money, like in the
yeah,
worst
you know,
way.
I did like a remix to that had like a
everybody on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Bun B, everybody, like everybody who ever rapped in Texas was on that motherfucker.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the label kind of like wanted me to do some pop stuff, but you know.
That was a crazy record. Hey, I want to talk to you, man, because you have a storied career, man. You know, of course, you're probably out of all the artists who broke out of Texas, you know, in the 05 era, you know, it was yourself, Mike Jones, Slim Thug. You're probably my favorite, man. I thought, you know, I really messed with your music. You dropped the Sound of Revenge, which did big things. The second album was, I thought it was really dope. Ultimate Victory was
critically acclaimed.
It was critically acclaimed album, but commercially, it didn't perform like the first one.
Yeah.
And then since I know the Venom, I was waiting for Venom, man.
Yeah, Venom. A lot of people. Somebody hit me today and was like, "Yo, I'm waiting on Venom. Cam, you taking too long
You
to drop an
canceled it,
album."
right? It's not happening.
It's not.
That's no Venom's happening.
Yeah, like when I left Universal, that was the album I was working on, and then the album was like, you know, I thought it was turning out pretty good, but they had a different direction that they wanted me to go, which was a little bit more pop. You know, I don't want to go that direction, and you know, so we didn't see eye to eye. So I wanted to leave Universal. I was like, you know, I want to leave. They didn't want to let me out. So after, you know, a little negotiation on my end, we ended up getting out of there. But they were like, you're not taking any of the music, and I was like, cool. And it was like, you're really gonna leave and not like take none of the music and just start over.
Should have just been an asshole and leaked it.
That's what all the fans keep saying. But you know, I'm a man of my word. If I say I'm not gonna, I'm just happy they let me out because they didn't have to let me out. It's not like they wanted to. You know what I mean? They wanted to keep me on. They still make money off of me. I still, you know, have a deal with Universal Publishing, so we still have business together. You know, we still.
So you don't want to,
So
I
don't want to burn bridges. You never know. You know what I'm saying? So I never leaked any of the stuff, even though, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I was in the studio the other day listening to Drive, like, man, if I would have put this out, man.
It'd be crazy.
Yeah, so it's harder to start over, but I'm proud of the music that I'm making now. You know, a lot of people be like, what's taking so long? Why you ain't dropped the album in a long time? I'm not one of these people that's like trying to keep up with the relevancy of other rappers. Like, that's just not my thing. You know what I mean? I focus on my craft and get an idea and I work on it and I have fun doing it. So we've been going across the world, shooting all these videos because I have this big plan in my head about how I want to release the next project, and I've been, you know, trying to make that happen.
You've been heavy, still doing the mixtapes, of course, which is initially your kind of your roots in hip hop is doing the mixtapes. Yeah. And then you just dropped the EP, right?
Yeah, I dropped the EP called Elevate, and I dropped a lot of that stuff directly from my website. And the goal behind that is just to, you know, accumulate, you know, email addresses. Like a lot, it's not no secret. I've been kind of heavy on.
You've been huge. I think honestly, like, you're one of the first rappers that I really remember that used the internet
pretty,
to like
successfully,
to like really, you know, to his advantage.
And to this day, I still do it, but I kind of just don't like, you know, stand on a mountaintop and scream to everybody that I'm doing it. Like I have a big mailing list. I think one of the biggest mailing lists of like most rappers, you know, and I use it effectively to sell a lot of records, sell a lot of merch. You know, and I sell direct, but because I'm not putting it on iTunes, a lot of people don't see it. So that's kind of the way it was when I first started off. I feel like everything's coming back full circle because I was doing so much and so many people don't know. You know, like you
kind of ahead of your time.
Yeah, you don't know how many times I bump into somebody. They'd be like, "Hey, man, you know, you still getting money?" You know, I'll just look at them like, "What do you mean I'm still getting money? I've been getting money my whole life."
That's what's
up.
You know, man.
So it's kind of like selling records and independently doing things. It hasn't been a hard thing for me, but now doing it on the scale of what I did major is the hard part, you know, but I'm working on some things that I think will come out pretty good, you know.
So like generic like hip hop fans like that you know that just know you for Riding Dirty, like does that ever get annoying? Like, hey man, what this is the guy who did Riding Dirty. Eventually,
I don't know. It's the gift and the curse because now I still do a lot of shows, and a lot of those fans that book me, you know, we're going to Brazil, we're going to Dubai, Russia.
That's dope.
You know, a lot of them only know about Riding Dirty, and that's why it gets me there. So I can't really be that mad at it, but a lot of people in the States, when they kind of be like thinking that, you know, you have a whole career for a decade, right? Yeah. And you did all this work, all these mixtapes, put in a lot of work to get where you're at, and then they only remember one song. It's kind of like people just skimming through the whole life of people, and I can't be mad. They do it to a lot of people. Joe Budden.
That happens.
You know,
Joe Budden's,
a lot of people. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't even really be mad at it. You know.
I wanted to ask you, when you dropped your second album, like the lead single was the Hip Hop Police joint.
Yeah. Was
that like your choice, or was that the label's choice?
I think you might know the answer to this already, just for asking me that question.
Why don't you reveal it?
Nah. Like, okay, the problem we have with Universal is that when you get with a major, right, you start to have all these ideas, and then when success comes, everybody comes in, and everybody wants to be a part of the success now. You know what I mean? So I remember, like, when we dropped Riding Dirty, we had Riding Dirty the whole time, and the label kind of was like, you know, he don't got no hits. You know what I'm saying? So they was like, we need to go find him some big producers, Timbaland, Scott Storch, all this stuff. So I went and spent a lot of money with Scott Storch, and we put out Turn It Up, which did good. You know,
it was a good record. Yeah,
I sold like 500,000 records off of that. But after that, I didn't think I had no singles. So we convinced him, like, please, man, the song just feels good. You know, it's not like Crazy Bones the hottest artist ever. We don't think like that. It just feels good. Then they were like, well, he don't really got a single, so cool, we'll just go with this one. And because I was refusing to go to any other big artist, so at the time I had a little bit more clout. Put it out, record takes off. You know, so now the next album, everybody's all involved. Everybody wants to be a part of it, and I'm trying to, like, keep control, and it's being a struggle between me and the label. And then I had a listening session, and they was like, yo, you gotta play some records for the label to keep them happy. And I wasn't really even ready at that time. I was just like halfway through the album. So I just played some records. And you know, anybody that's familiar with my mixtapes, I do like a Internet Nerds Attack.
Internet. Yeah,
or I'll do like a roll call Revenge, where I'm rapping like other rappers. It's kind of just a creative thing that I just try to do to test myself. So with Hip Hop Police, there was that. Me rapping in another voice. I would never think they would say it as a single, and I just played it. And that feeling that it gave them, because Slick Rick was on it, and he's from New York, and they're all from New York.
Yeah.
They was like, that's the single, and I was surprised.
And it kind of had like, it was almost like a continuation of Riding Dirty, like low key. Like,
I mean, but I definitely wasn't trying to make no single. Right. I didn't even expect them to say it was going to be a single.
Because I remember when I heard it, I was like, yo, this is a dope record, but it's like a dope album cut.
Yeah, and that's the way I made it. But the problem was that at that moment, there was like, that's the single. And it was like, man, and I was like, I argued. I talked to, you know, A&Rs, like, what do you think? And nobody wanted to, like, buck against the system. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then it got to the point where it was like, you know, I had been already kind of rebellious against the label with a lot of things. And at that point, I was like, it felt like everybody was on the other side of the table against me. You know, it's not that I didn't like the record. I liked the record because I made it, but I didn't expect it to be a single. I'm like, man, I got to take this to Greg Street. I got to take this to Jeff Jam Blaster. I got to take this to Skip Cheatham. I know the South. I know, you know, Soulja Boy is Yule, and everybody's like, I got to go to these summer jams and perform records. How I'm going to perform this? And then it was just like, I'm pressing the button. I'm not going to say no names, but, you know, it was like, I'm pressing the button. And I was like, man, what does that mean? And that means, like, the label's going to get behind you. You just shut up.
This is a song.
I did.
All right, yeah.
You know, and that's what happened.